So today we're going to be looking at compound interest and also depreciation. Interest is when you're increasing, depreciation is decreasing. So this is slightly different to that simple interest topic we've looked at previously. So the question says there's £2,000 in the bank which pays 3% compound interest per year, and it all wants to know how much is in there after 2 years. So first of all, we need to work out our increase multiplier. We can do that by drawing our bar. Our 100% is our original amount invested in our bank, so original amount. Our 3% is our interest, it's what's added on. So in total, we would have 103%, which as a decimal is 1.03. Remember, to go from any percentage to a decimal, you just divide by 100. Now you've got your key bits of information, you remember your formula. Your formula for compound interest is the original amount times by the increase multiplier raised to the power of number of years. So this is the key formula we're going to be using today. And we're only going to write it for this original question, so make note of it if you need to. So our original amount is how much has been placed in our bank account. We times that by our increase multiplier, our decimal we worked out, and we raise it to the amount of years that our money's in our bank account. This will then be a calculator topic, so you just type it all in your calculator and you would get the answer £2,121.80. You then just read the question carefully. Sometimes it will ask for the interest earned, which in this case would be £121.80. Sometimes it will ask how much will be in the account at the end. So we actually have a total of £2,121.80. So question 2 is very similar, however you'll notice that the question has changed slightly and it's now telling you that you're decreasing by 30% each year. So again we start off with the same picture, our original amount, our 100%, but this time we're actually taking off 30% every year. So that's why we've drawn into our bar, because we're decreasing and not increasing. That leaves us with 70% left. Again, we're going to write down what that is as a decimal by dividing by 100. And then we use our formula. It's our original amount, so 12,000, times by our decrease multiplier this time, which is 0.70, raised to the power of how many years? Well, we started at 2014, and it wants to know at the start of 2017, which is 3 years. And that equals to £4,116. It's got lower because we are decreasing. So question 3, this time we're working backwards. It's given us our formula and we need to try and work out the values which it started with. So how much money did he invest? Well, that must be the first number in your formula, the 1,350. What rate of compound interest? Well, remember, to get our increase multiplier, we originally divided by 100 from our percentage. So to reverse that, we would times by 100. That tells me actually we'd have 104%. Remember, our bar, we have 100% is our original amount, and our interest is the bit which is added on. So in this case, it would be 4%. Finally, part C. Well, we know that the amount which it starts with is 1,350, so therefore it cannot start at this 0. So we can straight away cross out B. Then part A, we have a linear graph. This is what it would look like if it was simple interest, where you added on the same amount each year. However, this is compound interest, and actually it is increasing exponentially. What that means is, every single year, you will be increasing it by a little bit more, because you're working out 4% of the new total, which is going to be slightly higher than the previous year. So therefore, each year your interest is increasing, so it's growing exponentially. Okay, so question 4. Again, we've got our 100%. We've got interest of 3.4%. So in total, that is 103.4%, which as a decimal is 1.034. We have our £6,000 times by our increase multiplier raised to the power of how many years? That is equal to £7,332.878395. It then tells you to give the answer to the nearest penny. So here, just like in all money calculations, we round it to 2 decimal places. Question 5. It tells you that he wants to save his money for 3 years and he wants £15,000 to invest. He's got 2 different offers. It's a very typical exam question where they offer you 2 different banks and you have to work out which is best. So first of all, I've split my page down the middle and I'm going to work out the Bank of Peace. So again, we would draw out our bar if required, add 100% to it, and then divide by 100 to get our increase multiplier of 1.025. Type this in your calculator and you get £16,153.36 to 2 decimal places. Then if we have a look at our second question, this one is slightly different. So again, we start with our 15,000. So for your first year, you are getting 3.8%. Again, if you add that to your 100% bar, that is 103.8%, which as a decimal is 1.038. We raise it to the power of 1, but you don't have to type that 1 in. Then it tells you you would get 1% for each extra year. So if we drew out that bar again, 100% plus 1% is 101, divide by 100 is 1.01, and then because it's in for a total of 3 years, we know that there's another 2 years left, and that would be his increase multiplier for those 2 years. We now type that in our calculator, and we get our answer, £15,725.70. You then, for your last mark, make sure you write down your best choice. So here, it would be Bank of Peace. So question 6. This time it's now giving you your starting amount and your amount of years. However, we don't know what our percentage is. Again, annum just means per year. So here, let's write down what we know. So we've got our starting amount is £4,000. We don't know what our percentage is. So I'm going to call this Y for the time being. But we know it's raised to the power of 7, and we know that that is equal to £5,263.73. So now we've got an equation with one unknown which we need to solve. So to begin with, we need to get rid of this 4,000 times. To do that, we divide both sides by 4,000. That's equal to 1.3159325. We then need to work out what y is. We can do that by doing the 7th root of our answer button. So if we type that in our calculator, we would get 1.04000. We now know what the increase multiplier is. So that's our increase multiplier. If you think back to our diagram, we had our 100%, our bit added on, which in this case is X%. That gave us this percentage, and then we divided by 100 to get it to our increase multiplier. So if we reverse that by timesing by 100, we'd get 104%. Therefore, X must be 4%. Okay, so our last question. This time, it tells you the amount he's investing, £3,000. it tells you your percentage. So add that to 100, then divide by 100, and you get 1.022. We don't know how many years, so I'm going to call this Y. But he wants to make sure that he's had more interest than £800. So therefore, if he has earned £800 on top of his £3,000 of investment, we're looking for when we get an answer of 3,800. So here, it's a little bit of trial and error. We're going to try different years in our calculator for Y. So let's start with Y equals to 5. This gives us an answer of 3,344.84. That's too low, so let's try Y as 10. This is getting much closer, 3,729.32. So I'm going to try Y as 11. This gives us our answer of £3,811.37p. So you can clearly see here we did not have enough interest after 10 years. However, after 11 years, we did have enough. So therefore, our lease time must be 11 years.